Right, joined by Danny Searle for an update for fans ahead of the summer. And Danny, the dust has settled on last season. How have you reflected on it?
Yeah, like we've spoken a few times that the bottom line for us was looking at what was good last season, especially from the time that we took over in February. What were the positives? How can we maintain those levels and improve them, push them onto another level, and also eradicate some of the things that put us in that sort of trouble in the first place? So we've debriefed quite strongly, to be honest. Watched games back, good games and bad games. We've watched back individuals from a retention perspective, who's going to fit in with what we're trying to do for the next season, and that's been the kind of focus on everyone. Probably before the season finished, to be fair, we started that because we need to focus on the positives, and we were confident we were going to stay in the league.
Yeah, and that recruitment process, as we say, is ongoing. But you'll have had those players, those targets in place before the season ended last year.
Yeah, we want to bring in players that understand what success looks like, and have been in squads that have been successful and had competitive seasons. It's as we speak about in the office a lot. It's all right having experience in the sense of age and games, but have you really been around an environment that people have won things, or they've had promotions, or they've been in and around playoff situations? And from our perspective, we want to bring people into the building, whether that's staff, whether that's players, whoever that is. We want to start behaving like a club that's ready for that move. We've got a lot of work to do, granted, but that's the kind of idea behind what we've been trying to do.
Yeah, and it's that time of year. Football's finished. Fans are eager for news on recruitment. Can you just give us a small update on how that's going?
It's going positively. That's probably what we're saying at the minute. I mean, we're in some really good talks with several players. We're quite far down the line with several players, but I think I'd be naive to start giving out information on that until that ink's dried on that piece of paper and it's been submitted and we know they're our player. But we're in a good place. We feel comfortable. We're not going to rush. I think that we're in a position where the positive thing for me is that post the February kind of the post February form, people are coming to us, and it's making it a lot easier to attract players because they see what we're trying to do. They see the way we play. They see the ethos behind our work ethic, and if you look at our last 15 games and the form we were in, people like what we're trying to do. So it's been good. But look, I think watch this space. I think hopefully there'll be a few things announced in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you've got re-signings and you'll obviously have new signings. Do you have an ideal squad size, or is it more of a fluid situation?
Definitely smaller than what it was last year. I think we had a lot of headaches. I believe, and this is only an opinion, and obviously if you're a Man City and Arsenal, for example, they're a different ball game because they're competing in 4 competitions and there's probably 60, 65 games across the season. So you need a lot of players. We don't have to do that. We're not competing at that level, so we have to shrink the squad size down. If you're worrying more about the players that are sitting in the stands than you are about the players on the pitch, that takes your focus off what you're trying to do. So the squad will definitely be smaller this season.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess with player recruitment, there is an element of patience involved because there's other clubs that are going to be after good players as well. So is that's something that, it's not going to happen overnight, is it? It's going to go into June, it's going to go into July.
Yeah, and plus I don't really want to be fighting over a player. We want someone that wants to, once we've presented to them, because we do, and we've presented to their agent or their families, if their families are the key stakeholder in their decisions, we want people that want to play for Ebbsfleet. We don't want to be fighting over, because it's all about nicking an extra 50, 60, 70, 80, £100 a week. We want people that look at what we're trying to do and say, that's where I see myself developing and becoming a better player and being competitive.
And coming in as you did in February, I guess it was all a bit frantic, wasn't it? It was Tuesday, Saturday, chasing the points. How has it been to actually be able to take a step back and have time and space to plan? Yeah,
it's crucial, isn't it? From whether it's pre-season, the sort of sessions we want to do, the type of work we want to do, the planning around off-season, making sure the players that are staying come back fully fit and in a good position. But it's when you're trying to build a culture and a philosophy, obviously that takes time. That's not an overnight fix. So it's just a lot of what the work we've been doing, of course, recruitment, but obviously all the off-season stuff, logistical stuff. How can we make the environment better next year? So the boys that were here last season walk back in and they can see a visible change in the levels, and also the players that are coming into the building look at the place and go, wow, I've definitely made the right decision to be here. So it's been great. Still a lot of work to do, and it won't be fixed in this off-season. It'll be a continued development, because with everything, if we're going to get better, it's an evolution. It's not just a one-trick fix that we just does everything, because I think otherwise everyone would do it.
Yeah, and staying up was obviously the key thing last season, the major goal. So what are the ambitions going into this new season now?
I think that to put a real target on it is very difficult. I think the biggest thing for us is we want to be a very solid National League side. That needs to be first and foremost. You can't jump from being a team that nearly got relegated on the last game of the season to someone who's saying, oh, we're going to win the league next year. That would be stupid. I think for us, we need to build a sustainable environment where actually we've got the foundations in place. This club wants to be an EFL football club, but we have to get the foundations in place for that. And there's a lot of pillars that are already there, but there's some others that we need to get into place. So, look, hopefully we want to be in a position where we're not worrying about our survival on the last day of the season.
And just going back to that Boreham Wood game, the fans were absolutely fantastic at the end of that one, as they were in all those games where we were scrapping for points. That's going to be key again, isn't it? Getting them behind you all season next season.
They were phenomenal. From when I came in, the first game here against Oldham on TNT Sports, the first game they were outstanding, and they really got behind the lads. And and I've said this from day one, it's about building a relationship that you're there for each other. So the days when the crowd's a bit flat and it's a bit quiet, it's the players' responsibility to get everyone up, and vice versa. If there's a game where the players are a little bit flat, the crowd building them up. That's all great clubs to have those relationships. They've been outstanding, and for us, we want more of that. It's like someone said to me the other day, "Oh, but I bet you would have liked to have had safety all sealed and secured before the last game of the season." Looking back now, I don't think we would have celebrated like we did if we'd have done it 2 weeks before or a week before. To have that kind of almost feeling of winning something on that last day, the celebrations, the camaraderie between all the staff, the players, the fans, that picture at the end, I probably wouldn't have changed it, to be fair. But for us to be successful, we need them on side, and we need them packing this place out and making as much noise as they can.
Yeah, just away from the playing side of things, the week after the Boreham Wood game was news of the new stadium. I mean, that's got to affect, the short-term and the long-term future of the club. That's something that you can sell to new players as well.
It's a massive sign of intent that this Ebbsfleet United are not here to just be a non-league side that just sits and floats between divisions or sits in the National League and stays in the National League. There's ambition that this club wants to be, like I said, an EFL football club, and the planning going through, it shows that behind the scenes there's drive. They've got a manager now in myself and a management staff with Anmar, Chris and the other staff that are around us, that we're driven to be successful. We're recruiting players that want to be successful. We're retaining players that want to be successful. So when you start amalgamating those together, we've got a chance to really build something at this football club, and something that the fans that are here already deserve to have because of their loyal support. But obviously we want to start re-engaging new fans. We want people to want to come and support Ebbsfleet.
Yeah, and just going into pre-season's not too far away. The games are more or less set in stone. You've got one or two possibly additions. But how do you and Anwar now go into that pre-season? What are your plans and your hopes for those 4 weeks?
So there's several facets to a pre-season from our perspective. Obviously, fitness is a key. We need to get the players up to match speed. So when we come into that first game of the season, we're as well prepared as we possibly can be. But there's a massive tactical element to that. We want to make sure that there's no stone left unturned with regards to how we want to play and scenarios. I love scenarios. I like scenarios-based coaching. This is the situation. We're down to 10 men, or we're 1-0 down, or we're 1-0 up, and whatever the scenario might be, that we're prepped as much as you possibly can. Control the controllables. So that'll be what pre-season is about. And one of the biggest things for it is the bonding, making sure the new players coming in become a part of the fabric of what we're trying to do, and the existing players have a clear outline of, they have an idea, but 15 games, like you said, it's a helter-skelter 15 games. There wasn't really any time to settle down and really present. So that's what the pre-season is going to be about for us.
Yeah, well, we're all looking forward to it, and enjoy the one holiday you've got left, and see you back.
No, thank you very much.